This is a new segment, SCHM Podcast.
Yep.
Still workshopping the name. We'll get it to you by the next
Yeah,
pod.
by the next one we got you.
As we're recording, this is Monday, August 27th. April 27th, my fault. I'm Christian.
Christian.
Freshman.
I'm Justus, also freshman. And today we'll be talking about different topics in soccer, both male and female aspects.
We're going to have a couple guests on here from time to time. We'll let you know that. But let's just let you know our allegiances, where we stand. I'm a Milan fan. My favorite player of all time is Ricardo Kaká.
I am a Barcelona fan. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Okay.
Come on.
My favorite player of all time is probably Neymar, from personal bias. Personal bias from Neymar. I mean, aside from the GOATs, obviously, like we're talking like aside.
This is our favorite player. It's not a GOAT conversation, not a GOAT debate. This is our favorite player to watch. But another pod. We have bigger things to talk about today. Champions League fixtures on tomorrow for us. Tuesday, then Wednesday. First one is going to be PSG versus Bayern. PSG home, Bayern away. We're going to do a little prediction thing, but before we get to the prediction, injuries. Vitinha possibly out. Big injury. Possibly out.
Have to see from Fabrizio.
Have to see, but it looks like Vitinha not going to play a full 90, if anything. If he does play, it'll be probably a short half.
Yeah.
Also, Carl Gnabry, most definitely out. Gnabry out for the season. I don't think he's going to the World Cup anymore as well. Big injury for him. Carl, that's the understudy to Musiala, could be a big off-the-bench option that they don't have. Second leg, obviously a different story, but first leg is today. This is what we're going to be talking about. Who do you have?
Even without Vitinha, I still have PSG winning this first leg. I mean, obviously, first of all, it's at home, so they're going to want to defend the Parc des Princes with all that they have. Even without Vitinha, I still think that this team is very fluid. I still think that this team has a lot going for it. You still have Dembele, Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Barcola, when he is able to dribble and not finish.
Let's not forget they also have Fabian Ruiz, who possibly will be coming back from injury. We still don't know. Mysterious knee injury. He doesn't want to come back onto the pitch. Problems internally, but still, if Fabian Ruiz does come back, they do have some work in that midfield. Obviously rotation, but let me get the scoreline from you before I go on my little rant.
Before you go on your little rant, I'm going to go on a little one of my own. I still think that while the midfield is struggling a little bit with the loss of possibly Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz, I still think João Neves is a very good shout for someone who could dictate that midfield.
A bit more defensive, though.
He's a little bit more defensive, but he can put in that offensive work. He may not be as creative as the two I have just mentioned, but he can still take the ball forward. He can still get the ball where it needs to go. He can still get it into Dembele and Kvaratskhelia in these places. And I also think that Zaire Emery can do those same things. Maybe not to the level of Fabian Ruiz and Vitinha, but I also think that it's still a good shout. I think the midfield will obviously suffer, seeing as Vitinha was a top 3 in the Ballon d'Or in the 2025 season, and as well as Fabian Ruiz, who has been instrumental to their team, but I do not think it is enough, if I'm being honest, for them to lose this first leg at home. I do know Bayern is very strong, and especially in that midfield area, because you still have peak players like Kimmich who can slide in. Musiala has recently come back, and he seems to be back to at least somewhat of his former powers, and he's getting back into it. Scoring a goal last week.
Injury concerns are a big one for this one, because last fixture we know Luis Diaz put a crunching tackle into Hakimi. That was the fixture this season.
Is he out?
No, Hakimi's actually that was the reverse fixture on group stage games.
Gotcha.
But this is bound to be a scrappy one. It's bound to be. There's no way this one doesn't come out with a couple of yellows. Even just looking back at what the last fixture was, there's going to be bad blood. There's going to be some bad tackles put in again, probably. But
100%.
Big question: is Neuer going to come through again? Is Neuer going to come through again for them? Because last fixture, with Chelsea, he's been mistake prone, but he's come back to life. In the Madrid fixture, he's come back to life in almost entirety, almost making Germany want to bring him to the World Cup.
I think that he has been injured. He has been prone to show those mistakes, and
40, man.
But it also has been true the last time these two teams played in the beginning of the season in the Champions League that wasn't it, Marquinhos made those same mistakes. So I wouldn't push it past you. I'm not saying Marquinhos is going to make those same mistakes again, but I am saying that it's still possible on both sides for mistakes. Neuer is more prone, though. I see where you're coming from. But I do think this Bayern team is very strong, and they're not missing as many key components. So maybe they pull one over you on this first
They're
leg.
missing subs. They're not missing key components, like you said. They're missing subs, but game-changing subs, I'd say. But last thing, before we get into the scores, who do you think will slide in? Vitinha, no Fabian Ruiz. Who do you think slides into that midfield? Because we saw Beraldo. No, it's gonna be they do the three in midfield.
Yeah.
So we'll see João Neves and Zaire Emery. Obviously, those have been João Neves will never get displaced out of the midfield. I don't think they can bring someone that will displace him out of the midfield. But we know Zaire Emery, we know João Neves is gonna be there. But Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha up in the air. Beraldo showcased in that game. He put work in, and then Mayulu. Who do you think shoves in?
I think Mayulu is more of a front three option. I think that Beraldo is also a good option, but I also want to throw Lee Kang in there as well. And I think he's been exceptional.
Fernandez as well from your club.
Yeah, Jero, he could be, but again, I don't think you put him into a big fixture like that. He hasn't been playing as many games. He didn't play that many games at Barca. He hasn't played that many games at Paris. And
he's showcased in a couple. I like what I see from him.
It's too big of a game, but too young. It's too big of a game. It's too big of a gamble.
Look, PSG is based off of youth, though. PSG's based off youth.
Midfield isn't even his normal position.
In the Champions League final and showed up. I don't think the problem with PSG's youth. I just think the problem with them is moments. What can they make in the moments? And we see Dembele in that Liverpool fixture. He missed so many chances, but at the end of the day, they create so many. It doesn't matter. He'll still score 2 on you on the night. But the thing is, are they going to be converting in those moments?
Obviously, they're going to be converting in those moments. It's PSG. They won the Champions League last year, and they're probably going to win it this year if we're looking at the same likelihood.
We'll get into who we think's going to win it later.
Yeah, let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. If we're being honest.
Ahead now.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I don't think Giroud midfield isn't his normal role. He's a winger at best. That's why he's
a
left.
10. He's a 10. He played 10 for you guys at Barca.
Yeah, because he couldn't play on the wing. Because they wouldn't let Flick would let him Yamal Rafinha. They didn't let him play on the wing because they already had such great options out on the wing. He's a winger, right? He's playing midfield, and now he's kind of in that position. It's not his main position. I mean, he can play that, but his main profile is out wide, and it's his ability out wide, not in tight spaces in the midfield. But I also think another option they could do is have a front three of Barcola, Kvaratskhelia, and Dembele up top, and then slide Doué into a 10 position. That is another possibility that they have done before.
It's very offensive. I think this comes down to a midfield battle. The technical quality of the midfield is very drastic. I think, they're decently technical over at Bayern, but to the level of PSG, it's night and day, honestly. But PSG is most definitely going to win that technical battle. The physical battle is what I think where it comes down to. We know Kimmich and Pavlovic can put in a good tackle, put in a good shoulder where they need to, but João Neves, that's a given. Zaire Emery and whoever makes that midfield spot, are they going to put in that defensive work that they need? Because Bayern's attacking force, Kane dropping into the midfield, we got to watch out for that too.
Same thing with Dembele dropping inside the midfield, adding to that midfield battle.
It is. So, you said Dembele, Kvara, Barco up top. Who are you displacing to put on the right? You putting Barco on the right or Kvara? Are you displacing Kvaratskhelia?
I'm not displacing Kvaratskhelia. I'm displacing Barco.
Okay, I had to make sure.
What do you mean? That's the dumb question.
I'm sorry.
That's a dumb question. He has 8 goals in the Champions League. I'm not displacing the Georgian GOAT. I'm not
Georgian GOAT. Kvaradona.
Kvaradona. I'm not displacing it. 100%.
Score predictions. No more with the ramble. Score predictions. First leg only. We'll do it separate more for the second leg.
If Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz come back, this could be a tight one. I say 2-1 PSG.
2-1 PSG?
If they come back. If one one over both of Vitinha and Fabregas comes back. But if both of them are out, I have Bayern winning this game, and I think it's 2-1 in the other direction.
I think Beraldo steps into that midfield to go for a more defensive aspect, but I think the quality of both John Neves and Zaire Emery going up and down is just going to be too much for Bayern. Obviously, Kvara on the left, I'd say, maybe they do Doué on the right and, go with that front three that they usually do. I'm going to go 3-1 PSG.
3-1 PSG.
3-1 PSG. I think Neuer just can't cope with the chances, and I think PSG is not an early start team. We see them early days, we doubt them, and then when it comes to the semifinals, the quarters, the Champions League, when the moments matter, they show up. Because I think they've mastered this, where they don't care about what happens at the start, they care about what happens at the end, because that's all anyone remembers.
Yeah.
That's what we saw last season. I think we're seeing it again this season. Dembele ghosted us for the start of that season. He's ghosted us for the start of this season, and we see him put, how many did he get against Liverpool? 3? 4?
Who?
Dembele.
Dembele? You got 2.
You got 2. Well, that was the second leg. I think he got 1 on the first leg as well.
Yeah, the first leg ended what?
It was 2-0 as well. They both
2-0
ended
as well?
2-0. I think Dembele got 3 goals. I think this is exactly what we're looking at. We're looking at a PSG who doesn't care about anything else but getting to that final game and winning it. And I think that's what they've mastered. I think they're going to come in with a different level of fitness than Bayern. Bayern obviously don't care. They've already clinched the league. PSG have a different battle in the league, but I still think PSG come through with that 3-1 win.
I think that could play a big factor into the second leg, though. Who has to play over the weekend, because Bayern really don't.
Fitness, and we've seen France are willing to move games just for PSG to have that fitness.
I mean, that fitness is very important, as we saw with Bodo Glimt earlier in the season, where Champions League was the only games they were playing, and they got to round of 16 against Sporting. Fortunately, they were knocked out,
sadly,
and that underdog run came to an end. But we saw how fitness and overload of games, especially in today's day and age, can really play a major factor into who moves on and who doesn't.
Big thing.
All right. Before we talk about the Atletico game and Arsenal game, before we get there, I'm going to the bathroom. So Arsenal and Atletico.
Atleti home, Arsenal away.
Atleti home, Arsenal away.
Injuries. Timber out. Lookman possibly out as well. Big attacking for Atleti. Big defensive loss for Arsenal.
This really is the worst tie I've ever seen in a semifinal in a while. I can't see this anything other than boring at some point, because either it's a 0-0 in both legs or a 1-0 in both legs.
We saw the Arsenal-Newcastle game. Newcastle pressed high. They fought back. Arsenal got a 1-0 win from a set piece. It was a set piece, and Arsenal have been known for that, and we all equally hate them for it.
It was a great goal from Eze. It was truly a great goal from Eze.
Look, when Eze takes that shot from far, which most of his goals have been this season, it's hitting something.
Yeah,
it's hitting something.
It's hitting post. It's hitting net. It's hitting keeper.
Somebody's body. He always gets. I don't want to say he always gets it on target, because he doesn't, but he's showing some crazy shot. And every time you get a little scared from it.
Yeah.
I think everyone does, but it's honestly, it's to the point where Eze is, everyone's blaming everyone on creating, but Eze's shown up, and I think
he's truly just something different in that team, especially just a light in a team of fully darkness, from passing back from Rice and Odegaard to...
You don't see anyone take shots from outside
to monotonous wingers who just cut in from Martinelli and Saka and pass back and play across and play sideways to the I'm not gonna say it, but the Haram ball that has been played, where he just parking the bus and playing 4-4-1s and 4-5-2. Like it's just disgusting to look at. And every once in a while you'll see Eze on top of the box trying to make something happen.
Eze's the only one who shoots outside the box in that team, and it's honestly it's a good thing for them, because they have someone who wants to do something with the ball, but it's horrible for us who don't want to see Arsenal win a cup.
Yeah,
goddamn.
We just need to see them lose everything. I'll be happy when they lose everything, they get nothing, and I get to rub it in their faces for another year, and we can go about this 4 months later.
Simeone's only focused on the Champions League. He's been told, we've seen the reports, He only wants the Champions League. He's resting everything for La Liga. recent La Liga game, he didn't rest his team.
He still has to secure a third place spot in Champions League football for the next year prior, but winning is out of the picture. Second place is out of the picture. Securing Champions League football over who's fourth? Villarreal's fourth, and securing it over them is really their only priority, and you can't blame it for him.
Just going on a little tangent because La Liga as a whole has done a great crime.
What is that
the whole of football?
What do you want about, bro?
Letting Getafe get Europe in La Liga, scoring 28 goals in less games played is a crime to humanity. They are on a win streak of I think 7. A 7-game win streak. It just broken by Barcelona, but still, in Europe spots, we have to sit and watch Getafe. In Europe, we already hate this fixture. We hate this Arsenal Athletic fixture.
It should be a crime letting Italy fans talk about this, bro. It should be a crime, man. Like, y'all can't even get to a round of 16. No one in Italy made it to a round of 16.
Let's be honest. AC Milan wasn't in that Champions League that year. So
you didn't deserve to be. You didn't deserve to be.
I don't count it.
You guys are trash. You guys suck. You're not going anywhere, man.
Look, we've had some unlucky fixtures. You know, I'd like to say Juventus. I respect Juventus a lot. They should have gone through against Galatasaray. Zaragoza missed that whole chance poorly in that fixture. But still, I won't excuse the fact that Italy has something wrong. But Getafe is a different breed of everything. Top in yellow cards, top in tackles, top in fouls, top in red cards. Every metric by which you can stop someone from doing something, possession, passes, doing anything, it looks like they don't play at all. And they are in Europe.
It is the epitome of Harambal and what is in the anti-football and what is not entertaining to a fan, obviously. But it's still not an uncommon thing to see because we've had Atletico doing it for years now with Simeone. You've had Arsenal.
He's got his own kid playing now, and it's drilled into him.
Yeah, but like now you have Arsenal, who were top of the league for almost 200-something days.
They're always top of the league for 200-something days, and then we see them fall.
And then City win for the 5th year in a row. But it's not something that's uncommon that you should be hating on because we still hate Arsenal. We still really don't like Atletico, and I'm really surprised and saddened that they beat my Barcelona. But it's something that's just a part of the game. That's just in every football.
I'm not a hypocrite. I will say my manager Allegri plays that same football, and
1-0
just yesterday
all day long.
We drew 0-0 to Juventus. I want to just mention. I can't, because I know someone may grill me for this, but I can't stress how badly I wanted to watch that game, but wanted to turn it off at the same time. 0-0. I don't even know how many shots on target there was because one offside goal, nothing else scored, nothing even close. It was disgusting, and we have to deal with this football in a Champions League fixture. One question for you. Who do you think will be the aggressors in this match? Who do you think will sit back? We know both of them will probably take turns sitting back, but who's going to take that initiative, take that possession? Because we obviously neither one of them want to leak one goal.
I feel like it's going to have to be Atletico, obviously. I feel like...
Do you think they're going to do the same tactics?
Both teams are sitting back teams. Let's get that off the table right now.
Not even.
But Atletico has more quality going forward, so even if Arsenal decides to go forward early, I do not see it being very successful outside of lucky instances, because if they couldn't create against a good Sporting side, it was a good Sporting side that made it to a quarterfinal, that beat Bodo Glimt, that made it to 7th in the league table.
1-0 draw over 1-0 over 2 legs. It's disgusting.
It's just disgusting, and I just don't see them creating. Even if they want to, it's not gonna be easy for them. They have to create for minutes and minutes and tens of minutes before something even happens, and even then it's going to be something random off Martinelli or a Havertz.
Look,
nothing's coming
as
from
someone who's
Gilchrist.
absorbed a lot of Harambal over the season watching Allegri, it's going to be a matter of who makes the mistake first. And Arsenal, sadly to say, they are prone to it. They constantly, Zubamendi, Saliba this season. We've seen a lot of mistakes from Saliba this season. Gabriel hasn't been perfect. He lost the Holland marker, and he gets tripped up in that. And they don't have Timber in, so that's a little less going forward. And with the quality of Alvarez going forward, with the quality of Simeone, John Luigi Simeone, whatever his name is, and Llorente going forward as well. I don't think they're going to be able to cope with whatever press Simeone cooks up on them, and I think that's what's going to break
let alone an Alvarez or a
Free
Griezmann if he's on his day. And I know you said Lookman was out, but maybe a good run from Simeone, his son, would be a good.
We saw him go through against Barca and get that red.
Yeah, my only concern is for this Atleti side going forward is that really in the round of 16 in the quarterfinals there was no
competition.
It's not that there was no competition. It's just that their goals came from glaring mistakes. It came from
Barcelona.
It came from Flick's high line.
Barcelona has a lot of mistakes with their defensive line. We're not going to doubt that.
Yeah, but even in the Tottenham game, we saw how bad that team
Tottenham
was.
is a relegation team right now. I don't think we can say that that's any competition or close to it.
I mean, you can say that, but there's still a relegation side that's set fourth in the table that only finished behind Arsenal, Liverpool, and
years ago. We're talking about a past Tottenham. They are past Europa League winners. They are last season before that they barely stayed out of relegation spots. We can't look at Tottenham as the old Tottenham. They do have good players, but the mentality is different. We're seeing this with De Zerbi, him saying bringing in mental coaches to help this team. I don't think they're the same Tottenham that finished fourth many years ago, that challenged for the title under Ange. And with this many managers going through, it's a different Tottenham. I'm not saying they're completely not competition, but they aren't the same as they were, and that's the biggest difference.
I mean, you can say that, but they still hit in the second leg. They still hit 3-2 on the break, so it's still possible that they are competition for an Atletico that is now in a semifinal position. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the same thing when Kane was there, when Son was there, when Dele Alli was there, but
they did have a lot of mistakes on their side, I will say that. But when Simeone decides to close up shop and he decides, I've got enough goals, we've had enough chances, I don't want to see any more. That's it. He'll concede 3 more, he doesn't care. But as long as that scoreline at the end of the day has him up on aggregate, he doesn't care. And we saw that with Barcelona. The Copa del Rey?
Yeah.
Copa del Rey, we saw that with Barcelona. He leaked a couple. At the end of the day, he won on aggregate. We saw it with Spurs. Leaked it, won on aggregate. Saw it with Barcelona again, won on aggregate. He doesn't care about leaking, but if he's up on aggregate, he'll leak a couple and he doesn't worry. He'll close up shop.
True, but then the match after that in the Copa del Rey, they choked against Sociedad.
Look, I'm not gonna make excuses for the dictator, El Dictator, Simeone, but it's not the same Sociedad. It's a good Sociedad team. I don't want to take anything away from them. They are a good team, and maybe he's tripped up, thought a little less of them. But we gotta look. It went to pens. Pens are tricky. His best pen takers miss their pens. We're not gonna. That's a tough one. His best pen takers miss pens. When you trust them to make pens, you trust them. And Alvarez, Sorloth, and I think Griezmann all missed their pens, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not. I remember Alvarez missed. I don't remember the other.
Griezmann.
I think it was just one.
I'm pretty sure.
I think it was just 2. It was just 2 who missed. Yeah, it was probably 3.
But still, fixture.
It's such a tricky one.
It's a tricky one. It's either red card, high scoring, low scoring. It's going to be low scoring. I don't even know why I'm saying high scoring. It's going to be low scoring for sure.
2 goals will not be scored on one side.
I think we're looking. I'm going to give my prediction first. I think we're looking at a 1-1. We're looking at a 1-1 here. Atleti's home. I think Atleti's home, I'm pretty sure. Arsenal's away. We're looking at a 1-1 for me. Yeah, Atleti home, Arsenal away. Timber out, Lookman out. I go 1-1. I think we go into the second leg with a different mentality.
I go no. I think Lookman's more important.
We're on the same page. A tie, nonetheless. We're on the same page.
Yeah, but I just think it's going to be a boring tie. I think it's a 0-0. I just don't think. I think Lookman is a lot more important to the side than people give him credit for.
Look, his quality on the ball it's different. We saw it in the Europa League final.
We saw it in
when
Atlanta,
the big moments come up.
We saw it in AFCON, but
he has his moments. I will say that he's not a. I don't think he's up in that top echelon, but he is an amazing player when the moments come.
Great.
Different things. Union Berlin, female coach, first female head coach ever appointed, and 2 losses, 2 games, defeat. A lot of things coming about her, but the players respect her. Staff respects her. She did an assistant coach job. She just moved up a little bit, but first game created a lot. I will say, not a bad game of football. She lost out sadly. If your striker can't finish, your attackers can't finish. It's not really on the coach. If you create that many shots and that many on target and that much possession and that much XG, it's on the players. But the second game, decimation by RB Leipzig. Decimation. Yeah. RB Leipzig are a top team. We're not gonna get that twisted. They have some amazing talent up top.
And at the end of the day, it is Union Berlin. No one really expects them to win.
They're fighting relegation.
And to fight hard against a team like that is impressive at any day of the week. But
they got one back on the night, but it's a sad loss nonetheless. It doesn't help. I don't want to say it doesn't help her case, because after the first loss, people are still coming out saying, this is very bad. She shouldn't have done this. She shouldn't have done that. She created more XG than the other teams. She was winning on XG, and stats don't tell the whole story. But if you have 3 XG on the night,
XG is expected goals, by the way. Yeah.
And you lose. I think she lost 2-3, or 1-2, or whatever.
Yeah.
You lose. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't like the criticism that she's getting, because they played great football. They created everything they could. The attackers couldn't finish on the night. It's not.
Yeah. I think the tricky thing with the Bundesliga is no one expects anyone but Bayern to win the league. And when it comes to a relegation side such as Union Berlin, no one's expecting too much from them. And I don't think it'd be right for them to criticize a manager who not only was putting up, had a team doing incredibly outside of winning, obviously, because of the results speak for themselves, but they were playing great football and they produced a lot of chances. And I don't think it's right to criticize her on such a high stake situation, such as a relegation battle, on future possibilities for females in this position. But I will say that when it comes to a team, especially when of the highest quality, at the very least your players have to respect you. We see that in the Madrid locker room, especially. The biggest egos can't wrap that around them, and they haven't been able to really have a manager they respected since Carlo Ancelotti, since Zinedine Zidane, and I think that player respect goes a long way. And if she has that, she'll make it far. She'll do great things. But while we're on the Madrid topic, do you want to talk about it? Do you want to talk about anything about how they have been playing? Anything about Vinicius?
Let's get into it for a second. El Clasico's coming up. It's not act like it's a small fixture. It's
what is that again? You remember what it is exactly?
Game after. So it's sometime in May, but you guys have one game, and then the game after. If you guys win that game, Real Madrid gives you guys the Guard of Honor. Because you guys win La Liga. But if you guys lose or draw, you play Real Madrid for the title.
Got you. But that game is obviously biggest game in football. Barcelona versus Madrid. It is perhaps the greatest rivalry in sports history. They're close on wins. They're close on draws. And it's obviously going to be close. Messi, Ronaldo.
I want to touch on one thing before we get on to El Clasico. No Lamine, no Rafinha.
No Lamine, no Rafinha.
It's
possibly no De Jong. Is there no De Jong?
Possibly no De Jong. We're looking at injury battered Barcelona, and it's not going to be a good fixture for you guys. I'm sorry to say, I don't think Rooney on the wing and Rashford probably good, but you guys haven't played good without Rafinha and Lamine. And it's a sad thing to say.
It's one without the other, and realistically we need both of them if we're going to do anything internationally in the UCL. Domestically, it has been a little bit of challenge outside of the league, especially in the Copa del Rey after our loss to Atletico. But especially going into this tie, I feel like for the second time in a row, and for this year, I think we're conceding the 25-26 season to Madrid when it comes to El Clasicos, because realistically, without that danger up top, it's looking troublesome. But I will say that as you've said previously to me off the podcast, Fermin Lopez has been perhaps one of the best.
I'm not a Barcelona fan. Shining light, my friend. He is a shining light.
He's a gem. He's been a gem in the UCL this season, and he has been a gem in the league. And it's just a shame. It's just a shame that he might not get his flowers. He's not
going to get his flowers. It's a
not
sad thing. You know, he went in that Atletico game, gave everything, got his face busted open, not on purpose, but, you know, it's an accident, it happens in football. But looking at this game, I don't...
The mask is tough, though.
The mask is tough. The mask is tough. But you guys have Ferran Torres, you know, I'm sorry to say this, but your front line will be Ferran Torres, Rashford, Rooney Bardghji, and probably Dani Olmo. I don't know why Flick likes to put Dani Olmo up top, and with that, I don't think he brings much to the table. But finishing-wise, I don't like this team. Rashford, on occasion, one-on-one, known to fluff his chances. Ferran Torres, the Shark, he has 20-something goal contributions. We see the goals, but he doesn't show up when you need it.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes he does, though. I feel like in the last El Clasico, not in the last one, but the last season, he had 3 assists. And I feel like at times he has shown up when this Barcelona side has needed him. And against Atletico, he had a goal and assist.
Look, he's a decent player in a good team. I don't think he's horrible. I just don't think he's a good striker. He's an okay striker. He's not like the strikers we've seen in the past. If he's not even like this comparison is only close because, you know, Barcelona had him as well. David Villa.
Exactly.
It's not even close. It's a two different things.
Comparing someone to David Villa just isn't fair.
It isn't.
It's just not fair.
It's not. But it's like who do we have to compare him to? Because there's no one like him. It's not in a good way that there's no one like him. There's no one like him who's fluffed his chances that much and that constantly that we look at him and say, on this night, is he gonna put it in the back of the net? And sometimes he does, sure. Sometimes he doesn't. And when he doesn't, it's monumental. Offside. Was he off? Pretty sure he was offside that Atletico game for the goal. You know.
I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, with him, it's a roll of the dice. You really don't know.
You guys don't have much options up top.
Especially a Rashford, an aging Lewandowski who probably is in his last season or two. But at the end of the day, I've said before that I don't think that we're winning this game, but I do expect good football from this team.
I'm sad you guys keep buying into these older players, João Cancelo coming over. And it's not like João Cancelo's going bad.
He's solid though.
I'm not saying I'm not saying he's bad, but it's like you guys had João Cancelo, and he went to Al Hilal, then you loaned him back from Al Hilal and brought him back, and then you guys are paying some of his wages, and this guy's in Saudi. These are astronomical wages, astronomical. I'm not saying, but it's like, why didn't you guys just buy him the first time? Make things easier instead of paying the loan fee, instead of paying the high wages that he's probably on. And probably get him on lower wages because he loves Barcelona.
As Barcelona knows, it's in debt. Barcelona as a club is in debt, so that money could have helped the team. And maybe we wouldn't be in a financial position to buy him now, but maybe we were thinking we were in a position to buy him later. And especially going into the 24-25 season, we had options like Balde out wide as well as Koundé on the right. And I think, as last season showed, they were up to the level. Last season, Koundé scored a winner against Madrid in a Copa del Rey.
Last season, Barcelona is a lot different from this season. You're missing one player you're missing in that whole equation is Inigo Martinez, who you guys look like an entirely different team without him. I'm sorry to say, it's night and day.
It is
the
depressing.
Order, the structure, it's gone. It's gone.
It is depressing that if you let him go for a free and this high line has collapsed in on us a lot more than it did in the season prior. And I feel like Hansi Flick needs to abandon it at some point, or get Deco to buy defenders who can keep up the high line. But
look, you guys have Kubarsi. He can't keep up the high line on his own. I don't think he's a bad defender. I think he's just everything that he does horribly is amplified by this high line. And he's young. He's young.
That is far.
No, he's young. That's what I'm saying.
That's far.
He's young. The things he do badly.
Don't hate on Kubarsi.
No. The things he does badly is because of his experience, and he doesn't have that. So we're not gonna throw him at a high line and expect him to shine because he doesn't have experience. Does Barcelona usually play a high line? No. That's not Barcelona's identity.
It's a new thing under Hansi Flick. But to say Kubarsi, everything he does bad is shown in this high line, I think is ridiculous. Because with this high line, you make the game closer. Because getting a high line gets the back line closer to the offense.
It shines the technical quality of your midfield players. I'm not saying it's a horrible idea, but it covers your bad parts, but it also outlines the worst. And we see that with all the goals scored. But let's
amplifies the chances.
Let's go on to Madrid, which is, I'd say, are bigger problems that they have.
Before we do, I just want to say something. I think it just amplifies the chances for both people on the offense and people on the defense. Because it gets people closer together, so it gets people more touches on the ball, both offensively and defensively, which allows defenders to make more stops, to have to sprint back and make more tackles. So players are getting a lot more action than they would otherwise. And I believe that's why the line is collapsing in on itself. Because
you guys can't
you give attackers more opportunity to go at the back line, to whip balls in across, and that's what we saw against Atletico.
I don't think you guys can keep it up for a season. That's what I'm saying. Your players are breaking down. We're seeing injury concerns. I don't like how much
We're seeing that all over because of the added games that UEFA and FIFA are adding to.
When we play this high intensity football, we see the toll it takes on players. I don't like Lamine Yamal playing as many games as he is. He's a great talent. I don't rate him as highly as some other people do. I think he is a top player in the world. But him playing all these games is not good. We've seen it with Fati. We've seen how it takes a toll on players. We've seen so many times, and I don't like how many games he's playing. Let's switch on to Madrid. They have bigger problems there in terms of performances, coaches, management, players. The list goes on.
Yeah, I mean this Real Madrid side is in name is one of the best sides on the planet. I mean, you obviously have the name of Madrid, which is the biggest name in the Champions League by a mile. It's not even close. And you also have big names: Vinicius Jr., Kylian Mbappe, Arda Güler, Jude Bellingham, Antonio Rudiger, Thibaut Courtois. The list goes on. But when this team has been managed well since Carlo Ancelotti's leave, and after the addition of Kylian Mbappe, coming from Paris Saint-Germain, that did better when he left, and coming into Madrid's side, that is worse when he's there. And I feel like it is conflicting interest. You can't. I'm a firm believer that you cannot have Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe in the same team. They play the same position. They're competing directly against each other, and whether you want it or not, you need someone to sacrifice for the team. And it's not just people in the back. It can't just be people in the midfield. Someone up top also has to sacrifice. We saw that in their glory days when they won 3 in a row with Ronaldo, Benzema, and Bale, where Benzema was sacrificing heavily for Bale and Ronaldo and later Isco. But I just don't think that. I just think that Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr., one of them has to go.
Vinny got offered out to some clubs recently, for Fabrizio Romano reported. Nothing back. I don't think he's going anytime soon. I think they have to find a way to work together. We'll see it in the future if it works out. But I don't know what manager can get that under control. We've seen Jose Mourinho links. I don't know if he'll be able to control them, but I don't know if he can get the team working. And we have to see Rodrigo, when he was back, he brought a little stability to it. He brought a little control to the game. But yeah, we've lost him through ACL injury, and I don't know if he's going to be the same player when he comes back. We never know with ACLs. And Mastantuono hasn't had his time to shine off the bench. Really, he's had limited minutes. We've seen Arda come through, shine a little bit, and I don't know where everyone else comes through. Mbappe is the top scorer pretty much everywhere. In Champions League, I think he's still top scorer. In the league, I think he's still top scorer. Mercury hasn't caught up to him just yet. But I don't see a world where this Madrid team doesn't win something. I think next season we'll really see. I think we're going to see if they bring something through in that first 5 games. I think those are the most critical for them. Those first 5 games are going to show us if they can put up or shut up with this new team. And if whatever this new manager comes through, Iriola, Eddie Howe, for Perez is deciding on his own. Reports, Perez is deciding the manager.
You can't do that on the first 5 games. There are way more games to be played.
There's more games to be played, but the first 5 games are going to showcase if they can work together finally. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to show how their whole season will go. It's going to show the football they play if it's going to work or not.
Yeah, but I think their football changes constantly. They're changing their team constantly.
And that's the problem.
Because of how they're playing. And I'm not. It is a problem.
That's
obviously,
the problem.
It is a major problem. But many teams have changed formations or changed.
They've changed in the middle of the season. I'm not saying this is set in stone, but the first 5 games of the season, I think, will show us if they're going to put up or shut up.
True.
And maybe there's some changes midway through.
That is somewhat true, but I also think that with this Madrid side, and especially just in Madrid in general, they've been known for making major comebacks. Not only in the Champions League,
Nico Paz is apparently coming back to the team.
True, Nico Paz is coming
with
back.
Hendrick.
Yeah, those are just added personalities to a mix of the biggest personalities in the world.
True, many might be leaving though.
Where is he connected to again?
Manchester United.
Yeah, United. Yeah, I mean that project is looking very fruitful under Carrick. But I'm just saying that this Madrid
That's
side,
if they appoint him as permanent coach.
is just that I don't want to play into the Madrid's like mentality where it's like everything you can do is a comeback and that it's never really over, especially with Madrid and especially in the Champions League and whatever competitions they play in. I'm not going to play into that, but I'm just saying that like they've changed, they keep changing and they keep adapting. So I don't think you can like have it where it's like when you go into the next season, the 26-27 season, that they don't have something that works for them that's basically set in stone, then it's not gonna. Then they're probably not gonna look well. I'm not saying that's entirely the case that it won't, but I'm just saying.
Look, this is just my outlook on it. That's how I see the next season going. If they don't make some big changes and big changes soon, I don't see them doing well. That's how I look at it. Other people look at it different, obviously. But let's switch on to some brighter things other than the dark clouds over in La Liga. Arsenal title chances. Also kind of dark, but
yeah, what do you mean?
Arsenal title chances.
It's the darkest shit you could say.
It might be bright for them. You never know. But do we see City catching up? Do we see Arsenal drawing back?
City have a game in hand. We're on 33 and 34 games.
They just beat Burnley 1-0. Burnley sat back a little bit,
yeah,
but Erling Haaland pulled through.
Newcastle pulled a 1-0 win just like City against
Arsenal
Burnley.
pulled up a 1-0 win.
And now 3 points ahead.
And I don't like the look of this Arsenal team. They still do the same thing, and the TikToks of them, in the training ground, putting TikToks up of their stuff, and and Arteta getting called a TikTok manager, people saying Rice is saying it's not over for the cameras. This team is, honestly, I think the biggest joke in football right now. With Spurs probably getting relegated. It's crazy to say this. They're the biggest joke in football right now. I don't know how you can be first in the table for so long and also have one of the best defenses of the season and be in the semifinals of the Champions League and be this funny. I don't know if it's funny, comedic. It's sad. I don't know how they can get to this level and still.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. We all hate Arsenal equally. This is a hate Arsenal podcast.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
We might bring an Arsenal fan on here to laugh at him.
Yeah, definitely will. Yeah, we should call Matthew.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's just that when it comes to Arsenal, Rice saying it's not over is a factual statement. And what else do you want him to do in that situation? Because at the end of the day, they're at that point they're tied on points. They're basically equal on goal differential. So really going into the next 5 games, they're going to be crucial games. And if they can win all other games, and if City wins all their games, it'll come down to who did better. Now naturally,
you come to this.
Naturally, you favor City going into their games. Yes, it's sad that we're here because Arsenal were up by 15 points.
Had to be.
It was it was some crazy margin, somewhere between 10 and 15 points that they were up on it. And it's sad that we're in April going into May looking at this team and it was like, well, we don't know. But at this point in the season, they're not out of it. They're not out of it. It's very much still in their hands.
They're out of it if they choose to be. Because if this team collapses in on itself, it's over for them. And if Arteta can keep them strong for the next fixtures, I think they have some tough fixtures. The City has a bit easier. I think they have Fulham and some other fixtures, but still, I think both sides have an equal amount of difficult fixtures. I think City also has Aston Villa, but They're not looking the same pretty much.
Yeah.
It's not easy for either side, but even with the difficult fixtures, I see City getting through. But with Arsenal, I see them struggling against Crystal Palace and some other sides, and it's like I don't know why I see them struggling. Maybe it's just 3 years straight I've seen them struggle. Are we gonna? It's history is bound to repeat itself.
Yeah, at some point, like as everyone watching the Premier League has surmised, is that the same thing that has happened the last 3 times has come to pass, where Arsenal have a big advantage at Christmas, they have a big advantage in March, they have a big advantage basically the entire
Christmas
season.
comes
and then City, and then the second half of the season, and then the latter happens where City take it back, they win off goal differential, they beat Arsenal at some late point in the
Not
season.
forget Liverpool too. Liverpool won last year.
And Liverpool, they ran away with it though. They kind of ran away with it a little bit.
Arsenal had them for first half of the season. Christmas came, Salah showed up, and
Yeah.
history happened.
History was made.
Yeah.
But it was just with this Arsenal side, it's just so it's so difficult. It's so difficult to tell. Can Eze really be the shining light going into these last 5 games? And can the worst kind of football, the anti-football, even still hold up in these last couple of games with a couple corners? And what we've seen recently is no, especially with the loss of Timber. And I just don't.
He brought a big
I don't see
crossing
it
threat.
working.
He brought a big crossing threat into that Arsenal team, and he brought a lot going forward. The goals and assists may not show for it, but his crossing from that right hand side was very amazing. It was very amazing when he crossed that ball into any striker that was there, anybody that was in the box. It wasn't. I'm not going to say he was an amazing cross like Grimaldo or any of these amazing crosses the ball, but he was in that team. He's amazing. In that team, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
Compared to Ben White and Mosquera, it's a big difference.
Yeah. But just additionally, is that if those set pieces do not work, and if they're very stale form and docile form of football doesn't work, I don't see Saka working. I don't see him creating anything.
They're
I don't
just
see
too
Martinelli.
submissive. They're too submissive.
I don't see Martinelli creating anything. I don't see Gyökeres getting anything that's not a tap in or something that's like or scrapping in the box. And
when they concede, it's when I saw in the City game, they just kind of lay down.
Yeah.
The game came to them, and Gabriel loses his head against Haaland and gets ahead, but he should get a red 100%. But they just lay down. They kind of let it happen. They let the game come to them instead of going at the game, and then they don't take the bull by its horns and go at them. And that's the biggest problem. They're slow on the counter. Gyökeres and his Timberlands running up the field. It's disgusting to watch them on the counter. Honestly, you watch. I'm sorry, any defender watching Madueke, Gyökeres, and Gabriel Martinelli come running at you. I'm sorry. Even as someone who's played not very long myself, maybe 5 or 6 years, or I don't get scared of that. They're professional footballers. I should be scared. These guys running at me, I wouldn't be scared at all. I'm sorry. It's like I'm at a loss for words. These guys couldn't put fear into a fish.
No.
These guys couldn't put fear into a fish.
You wouldn't be scared if you were running at Gyökeres.
If Gyökeres was running at me, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be scared.
Nah. Stop capping.
This guy in his Timberlands, this guy's a professional footballer. He can't run.
You're either running away.
Run.
You're either running away or breaking your ACL. There's no way he doesn't break your femur where it snapped. Like he's gonna snap your finger.
If he steps on me, sure. But it's like I'm sorry. This guy, he can't run. Him on the counter is just disgusting. Against Inter, we saw it, and it's like okay, it's Inter. Half of these guys are 37, 35. Why is this guy running like it's? And then who did they play? They played Newcastle, and I think he came on, and it was just it didn't make any sense. It's disgusting. They boot the ball up. He runs after it, and they just pass it back, and they get back, and it's
okay. But if Pep
disgusting.
Pep were to chase down Arsenal, win the league again, do you see the Premier League as a farmers league?
No. I can't. The money flowing through it, it's a testament to the old Serie A. the old Serie A had so much money flowing through it. You saw so many great players going through it. It's the same as that. You saw different winners. We see different winners now. Liverpool, City, and you see different people challenging. I'll say that. See different people challenging. But Pep Guardiola he's the top of the food chain. He's the man on top half the time, and it seems like even when it comes to spending, Liverpool won the league. They spent incorrectly, and they collapsed. But Pep can lose the league, spend almost as much as them, and come back up. It's a difference in mentality. It's a difference in spending. It's a difference in coaching. It's a difference in experience. And I think with how smart they are with signings, look, they've got Semenyo, they got Shirky, they got Gahey, they got Marmoush. They got Marmoush in that January. Kusanov. They got Kusanov.
Who's the fullback? Saint Antonori.
They got Aitonori. Their recruitment is second to none. And when it comes to positions, when it comes to football, bringing people through, I don't know who's better at it than Pep, because Mateus Nunes, Wolves midfielder, now he's a right back who's putting in amazing shifts against some great wingers. We got Nico O'Reilly moving also from midfield to fullback and putting in amazing shift after shift against Arsenal and master classes. I don't know what else to call it, because he's an amazing talent. I just think Pep is different from all the other coaches. And Pep is not my favorite coach. He's too experienced. He's too smart for Arne Slot, for even Mikel Arteta.
At the end of the day, he has a system that works. He has something that many people have tried to copy but not done exactly. And I feel like at the end of the day, he's going down as one of, if not the greatest coach of all time. Like him or not, like him and take away his more robotic type of football as he's been criticized for, especially when it comes to wingers. But realistically, that's only been done to Grealish, if we're being honest.
I will say, though, Pep he said something before in the past, if a winger can't express himself after the information I've given him or something along these lines, he wasn't meant to play. He wasn't meant to start. And it was kind of referring to Jack Grealish. Pep gave him a role, and he didn't change outside of that role. We see Cherky with a kind of different role, but still creating, annoying Pep, doing what he wants and being expressive. And Pep said, Pep's giving that kind of difference, saying, if you can't express yourself after what I've given you or in the system I have, you're not really meant to play then. And we see that with Grealish. He's given more freedom elsewhere, but is it really Pep's fault? Maybe that's for another one.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little not.
Let's touch on Chelsea.
Chelsea? Okay.
No manager, big games, trying to get Champions League football, pushed out by Brighton.
Let's start with the positives when it comes to Chelsea. They're in an FA Cup final, beating Leeds out 1-0.
They have Garnacho, though.
Yeah, Subject 49 is not...
Subject 49.
Subject 49, bro.
We talk about robotic wingers. That's
the peak of robotic. That's the peak of robotic wingers. Ooh,
I don't know. When we talk about non-frightening wingers, I think those are some of the most. Forget my comments on Madueke and Gabriel Martinelli. They've been top. I'm sorry. I will. I'm gonna take that back right away because I forgot about them over there.
No.
That's all, man. I forgot completely. So that's actually on me. Quick take back.
Yeah, their wingers are, I don't know, Dumb and Dumber. Like, it's just...
Let's not forget the lap in the middle. The lap in the middle with one goal, I think.
Dumber, and Dumbest. Dumb, Dumber, and Dumbest. We'll just leave it at that.
If Gyökeres isn't playing in Timberlands, I don't know what the lap is playing in. I don't know. Because even Gyökeres can score against Leeds and all these other clubs.
Okay, right. Okay.
Back to business.
Aside from their FA Cup success, making it to a final.
They're in a final. They are.
Yeah, well, obviously... We're not going to talk about that too much, but no one really favors them against a better City side.
Look, a final's a final.
Yeah, but true. Anything can
happen.
Players
show up.
Anything can happen in a final. We saw that a couple years ago when United beat City in the FA Cup final.
When Chelsea beat City in the Champions League final all those years ago, too.
True. It's possible, although note down that's very unlikely.
Very unlikely. Very unlikely.
But as we talk about this, about them not getting Champions League football and currently sitting in Conference League football.
Oh, they don't sit in Conference League.
They
Pushed out by Brighton.
Pushed out of Europe entirely. Pushed out entirely.
Europe entirely.
I mean, it's a little bit ironic because a year ago the side was in Conference League football talking about being bumped up to Champions League football because
the Conference League was too easy. World apparently as well.
Because it was too easy. And honestly, I just think that this Chelsea side, it's not showing promise if they're losing to a Brighton side that has been notorious for selling out talents. To otherwise, I mean,
to Chelsea,
as well as to Chelsea, their best players such as Moises Caicedo going to Chelsea, Cucurella going to Chelsea, McAllister going to Liverpool, and so many others.
Couple midfielders they also bought at.
Ecuadorian fullback, Estupinian.
That was to Milan. But
and
they also sold their manager, Graham Potter. I think didn't Graham Potter come from them?
Yeah.
It's insane. With how Chelsea sit right now, I don't see a future where they don't rebuild. They have to rebuild this team. With Amenga coming in and other strikers coming in and Nicholas Jackson not getting the buy option for Bayern.
I just don't see a rebuild option. I just don't see them rebuilding though. Because
it was 2 seasons ago we were talking about their squad list being ginormous.
Their squad list was ginormous because they got a new owner, Bowley.
This is a couple seasons in though. This isn't even fresh.
I know and they're a couple billion in, and now we're right back to square one. Right back to square one. And it's because the talent they invested in wasn't good. They were just they were just looking at the list of talent, and they bought all of the talent, hoping something good would come out of it. But when you put that many people. When you're trying to manage that many people and you invest in that many people, some people are obviously bound to bust. Some people are obviously bound to bust, but they're also you can't manage or really get the best out of the people that won't. And we saw that with Mudryk.
Was sacking Maresca right though? Because they say he got sacked because he didn't he played a couple players that weren't supposed to be played or wasn't playing players when he wanted them to play, and it's.
I mean, I don't think so. It's an Enzo Maresca that obviously beat a PSG side, and I feel like you have to give him more credit.
A weekend PSG, I will say that it was a weekend PSG.
It's a weekend PSG. It's after a full season, and there's no real good time for a Club World Cup if we're being honest. But I feel like you have to give the man a little bit more credit than he was given at the end, and I feel like. You needed to let things play out a little bit more before you guys made a big decision like that. And as we saw with what was our manager's name again?
Liam Senior, the gym teacher.
Liam Senior. Especially with his representation in the media being black in that spotlight as being a coach, it just didn't work. It didn't work out well, and as a lot of people have stated, has set people of African descent back a little bit because of how poorly it went. Yeah. Losing out to PSG, losing out of Champions League spots. He's a project manager, though. They
said they would give him time for the project, and they said, well, whatever you do this season, it doesn't matter. You have the project. After the season, you're fully taking over, and he's a project manager. He needs time to integrate the system. He plays a completely different system from what. Not completely different, but far enough to where it would be different for Chelsea's back line. Having the keeper play with the ball a lot more, moving extremely high up the field, and it's a huge difference when we know Chelsea has keeper problems as well. It's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Senior was just no one had just been decimated that badly by a PSG side. I mean, obviously you expect PSG to win against a tie against Chelsea. No one's gonna sit here and say otherwise. But after 5-2 and after losing 5-2 at the Parc des Princes, and after going to Stamford Bridge and just having 3-0, and then
Jurgensen did have a couple mistakes in there.
We're not gonna look back at that. But just it didn't sit well with people. He was still trying to change things in hopes after conceding 3 at home. And giving notes to players such as Garnacho. But speaking of Garnacho, like he has been rumored True, but he's bad. But he's been rumored to be leaking team sheets to players.
Yeah, left. Man United team sheets were getting leaked. He leaves. The team sheets are no longer getting leaked. He goes to Chelsea. Team sheets are now getting leaked to Chelsea. We saw with Ter Stegen at Barcelona. We found the mole. With you guys.
Yeah, terrible.
It's a big problem, and Garnacho is the worst out of that bunch. I will say, that game against United, I was glaring. Diego Dallo not even running after him. Casemiro, the kebab shop owner, and just standing there and taking the ball.
Don't hate on Casemiro like that.
No.
He's 30, what, 4?
It's 35, 36. I think he's 35, 36.
He has to be like 34.
Either way.
He's like 30-some years young. He's chilling.
30 years young.
He's 30 years young. He's chilling. I don't want to hear it.
No. But still, he just takes the ball off him like a kid. And it's like, to be embarrassed like that by your former club, it's sad. It's extremely sad. But let's not act like the PSG game was a one-off. I think last year in the Champions League, I don't know if it was Brest or Monaco, 10-0. They beat them 10-0. Yeah. It was around the 16. 10-0 they beat them. I'm surprised Chelsea didn't get that treatment as well. With all the mistakes, I think they deserved a couple more goals. Honestly, yeah. They deserved a couple more. But with how they're playing with their wingers, Gittins, not even a highlight from the Bundesliga, from Borussia Dortmund, coming with a crazy dribble success rate that was amazing on the ball. Doing nothing in this team, getting injured as well. They're sad to miss out on Esteval. He's been a shining light in the team. Delap not coming through. They don't even play Mark Yu, and there's nothing in terms of quality in this team that I see other than Esteval and João Pedro.
Maybe a Palmer.
Palmer's been injured. He's been having fitness issues. I don't want to even talk about him because we don't know if his fitness is full. We can't even say we're looking at a complete version of Palmer.
Yeah.
Because we've seen his level and we're not seeing the same level anymore.
Yeah, the fall off was a little bit apparent, but I feel like when he gets his fitness back up, he'll be going
100%.
Maybe not to the level. Maybe not to the levels that he was last season in terms of numbers, but he'll be back to the same levels as a player. And I just think we've seen the last of this Chelsea side, even if they don't make European football, because if they don't, maybe they could shoot up like Man United this year. They had no European football, and they're just competing in domestic competitions. And we saw how well they did. And they turned around at 15.
That's because of the transfer.
15. True, they got rid of Ruben Amorim, their previous head coach, who was employing a 3-4-3 system that wasn't really working for the team. And when they got him out, got Michael Carrick in, and ran their normal 4-2-1, 4-2-3-1?
Yep.
Or basically 4-3-3, but
Ruben Amorim's system was a complete dysfunction. We're not even going to talk about that.
But when they implemented that system, when they got a manager that was more focused on what the players could do and not just trying to manage them in a system that they weren't familiar with, they were able to shoot up in the table to now third. Bruno Fernandes is now getting the flowers that he deserves. The flowers he deserves. Especially
almost getting that assist record, too.
Exactly.
Close.
He's close to that assist record. 5 games left. Actually, no, he's on 33. 6 games left.
18 assists.
18 could 20. Be De Bruyne and Thierry Henry's 20. And I think he could be a Ballon d'Or favorite if Portugal have a great World Cup this summer.
I don't see that being a crazy shout.
It's not a crazy shout. I think that Ballon d'Or shouts for Bruno Fernandes are crazy, especially with not only his assist record and not only going into this World Cup with a very strong Portugal side, one of the best in Europe, not let alone the world, but just his level of creativity being far above anyone else in the Premier League. And I feel like with De Bruyne out into Serie A with Napoli, I just believe
injury
that now
as well with him too.
Yeah, I feel like now that spotlight has been taken off of the beauty of De Bruyne and just been put on Bruno Fernandes.
Look, I've always said this for a long time. De Bruyne is an amazing chance creator. Bruno is as well an amazing chance creator. Mm-hmm. The quality of chances that De Bruyne creates is much higher than Bruno Fernandes. He'll put the ball on a plate for you. The amount of chances Bruno Fernandes can give you is not even tantamount to the ones De Bruyne can. It's a different system. It's hard to compare them because Pep pays a lot more systematically with the ball, a lot more, and we've had a lot of different coaches that systematic